Hi, Assalamualaikum and hello to all my students watching this video. My name is Madam Namira. Today, I would like to talk about Chapter 1, What is Law? But in this video, I will focus on the basic concept of law only. I would like to highlight the learning outcomes for this video. Okay, at the end of this video, the student must be able to describe the general definitions of law. Reminder to all of you, if you can't understand, please ask the question to me or please drop the question in the comment sections below. And if you need me to explain again, please ask me to do so. So we move to the general definitions of law. The first things that you need to know is the meaning of law literally. Based on the Oxford English Dictionary, the law is the body of the law enacted or customary rule recognized by the community as binding. So meaning to say that the law must be enacted, but must be imposed, must be passed by the one who having the authority. Or the law can be a customary rules, but need to be recognized by the community as a binding. What is actually the meaning of binding? Binding means that it need to be followed. Okay, every community, every people need to follow the law. The second point that I want to highlight here is there's no specific definition of what is law in the legal perspective. Because of what? There are many interpretations of what law according to belief, according to value, according to custom, okay, according to schools of thought. For example, when you learn law in the perspective of naturalists, they give the opinion that the law is usually the law come from the God. When you refer the law in the perspective of positivists, you may find that the law is considered as a positive law, which is the law that came from the authority. So we can say that there's a lot of interpretation on what is actually the law. But we need a general definition on what of law in order to understand what is actually the law is, right? So I want to highlight here, when we're talking about the law is actually a set of rules enforceable by the state, and it made by the person having the authority, and there's a binding effect. Okay, binding effect means that everyone has to follow. Otherwise, if you disobey or you breach the law, you may face a sanction. What is actually the meaning of sanction here? Sanction means that punishment or penalty. When penalty because of you breach the law. Okay, so in the third paragraph here, there are 5 keywords, the important keywords that you need to highlight here. Number 1, a set of rules. Number 2, enforceable. Number 3, it must be made by the person who having the authority, like parliament, government, the king. Okay, for example, kalau for example, if Malaysia, it is a parliament, right? That is a duty of parliament in order to enact the law. Number 4, there must be, everyone has to follow, which is a binding effect. And the last one, there's a sanction behind it. If you disobey, there's a sanction behind it. So that is a key word when we're talking about the general definitions of law. Okay, the next point or the next slide is I'm talking about still the idea on what is actually the law. Okay, when we're talking about the law is actually the system of rules that direct and guide us in every activities that we do in our life. Okay, for example, when you drive a car, there is a law. When you want to give the opinion, there is a law behind it. When you want to marry, we want to divorce, there's a law behind it. Okay, so everything that we do in our daily activities is governed by the law. The second idea when we're talking about the definitions of law is the force and caution. Okay, some opinion, there's some jurists said that the law must be insert the element of force and caution. Okay, why? Because of when there's no element of force and caution, people did not follow the law. Okay, and in fact, when nowadays we having a binding effect, still there are people disobey the law, right? So that's why the law, when we're talking about the law, there must be element of force. Okay, another idea of the definitions of law is some of the jurists or some of the people said that the law as a morality. Okay, so what is a morality? Morality is the ideas of what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so usually the idea of morality is transformed into what is legal and illegal. Okay, for example, in Malaysia, okay, same-sex marriage is illegal. Same-sex marriage, in terms of morality, is immoral, right? So from the idea on what is wrong is transformed into that is illegal. Okay, the simple example that I want to highlight here is when at the time of the apartheid South African, whereby that particular situation whereby they impose a law, in terms of discrimination between black and white people. Okay, when we're talking about in the morality perspective, we can say that that law that made by the government at that time, it is not a law because it is immoral. Okay, that is in the perspective of morality, because in the perspective of morality, what is considered as a law, what is considered as immoral, it's not a law. Okay, so when you impose something that immoral, that is not considered as a law. Okay, so that is idea on what is actually the law is. So I want your opinion on what is actually the law. Okay, please give your opinion in the comment below. What is actually the law in your perspective? Okay, so I will move to the divisions of law. Okay, the law can be divided into two, which are descriptive and prescriptive. Okay, when we're talking about descriptive is just to describe what law is and explain why the law is and its consequences. Okay, so meaning to say that in the simple words, descriptive is only to describe something. Okay, it exists in many contexts. It can be a law of economy, the law of science, the law of nature. Okay, for example, in the law of economy, there is a demand and supply theory. The law of science, we're having a law of physics, law of biology. Okay, and that considered as descriptive law. It just describes what the law is. Okay, and when we're talking about the descriptive law, it is formulated by the one who discovered it, the one who expert on it. For example, scientists, economists, okay, not the authority. Okay, it differs with the second divisions of the law, which is called as a prescriptive of law. Prescriptive law prescribes how people ought to behave or consider as order, directive, or instruction. Okay, when we're talking about prescriptive, the word prescriptive, it means that what is actually can be done, okay, what is actually cannot be cannot be done. Okay, so it not describe the facts, but demands or order a man how should the man behave. Okay, so we can say that the prescriptive is the set of rules, principles that govern and regulate the human behavior. So when you look on the definitions of the law that we have, which are descriptive and also prescriptive, so which one that we discussed today, which one that related, okay, with our subject today, either descriptive or prescriptive? So please comment, or please give the answer in the comment below. So I think that's all for today. That's all for this video. And if you having a question, please ask in the comment or in the class. Okay, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Assalamualaikum.